My name is Courtney Villeneuve, and this is my story. I was born in California to very young parents, and they were not married. And when I was a year old, my mom moved us to the Pacific Northwest and did not tell my father's family where we were going. My mom remarried when I was 2, and they had 2 girls, and then they divorced. And when I was 7 or 8, she moved me to California to live with my real dad and his family. And I met them for the first time ever. To come from brokenness and instability to stability was really hard for me. And I lived there until I was 14, and then I ran away from home. When I was 17, I went to church for the first time in my life. I also gave my life to Jesus about a week after that first Sunday, just because he was introduced to me and it was the first time I'd ever heard of him. I stayed there for 2 years until I was 19, and then I moved to Dallas to go to Christ for the Nations. And I was there for 3 years. Everything inside of me wanted to move home after I graduated from the 3rd-year program. I didn't want to be here anymore. And so I moved home to Washington. And the whole way home, I just heard God say, "You need to turn around. This isn't right. You can't go home. I want you in Texas." I just knew that he wanted me in Texas for whatever reason, but I kept driving and I didn't listen. And for 2 years, I struggled with that in Washington. I moved back to Dallas in December of 2010. I didn't find a church when I moved down here, so I was completely alone besides my coworkers, and I went off the deep end basically. Finally, I found a church that I knew from the moment I walked in the doors I was supposed to be here, and that was New Life. The people here have changed my life, along with God and how he's working in me. Just the love of the people here is something I have never experienced before. They accept me for who I am. They don't look down on me for the things I've done, and I knew that God was working through them to get me back to him, because I was basically lost. And after being a Bible student, to get lost and to go off the deep end like I did, there was a lot of guilt, there was a lot of shame. God has completely just taken me out of that mess and turned me around with love. No matter what I've done, he's always there waiting for me. And no matter how much I've fallen, every time he's there to help me get back up. Going through those struggles after I became a believer and running to God was like coming to him again for the first time ever. If I could sum up my story in just a few words, I would say that Jesus has always been there to pick me up whenever I fall, no matter what I've done. And he shows me love and compassion that I've never known before.